Okay, welcome back to the session. We are dealing with the Unit 1 pulse code modulation technique, a very old waveform modeling, which is to represent the physical analog signal into digital signal. So, in the previous sessions, we have discussed the various processes involved in the PM. The very basic process is sampling. And what is the next process? Can anyone say? Shivapriya, what is the next process in converting the analog signal to digital signal? Shivapriya, you can unmute and you say the answer. Shivapriya, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Audible?
Quantization, sir. Quantization,
Tell me, what
sir.
is the next process? Okay, very good. Quantization. So the next process is quantization. Okay. So the input of the sampler is a continuous time signal. That is, we can call it as analog signal. So this analog signal is converted into discrete time signal. That means if you are having an analog signal, if this is the signal at the input, then the output of the sampler is nothing but okay, so it has to
Huh?
sample the analog signal. Sorry, this is n, and this is x of n. So it has to convert it into discrete time signal. Okay, so in this discrete time signal, the time has been discretized. You can see that all the time the signal is not having value on all the time instant, but it is having value on some specific time instant. Let the space between each time instant as the sampling duration Ts. Sampling duration. And 1 by Ts as sampling frequency. 1 by Ts as the sampling frequency. And we know that this sampling frequency should be always greater than or equal to twice the maximum frequency of the analog signal. So Fm is the maximum frequency present in the analog signal, which is to be sampled. Okay, so the sampling theorem says that the sampling frequency should be greater than at least twice the maximum frequency of the analog signal. Okay, so now the output of the sampler provides the discrete time signal. So we are having two different types of quantization. They are uniform and non-uniform. For what purpose we have to go for uniform quantization? What is the purpose of the uniform quantization? Amina, Amina Shaheen. Amina Shaheen. So once I call the name, don't waste my time. You can unmute and speak, or otherwise I am feeling that I am not audible. Okay, Anamika. Anamika.
Sir, the quantization levels will be equal for all the samples.
Quantization levels will be equal for all. Okay, what is the purpose of quantization? Quantization ஓட உண்மையான purpose என்ன?
Sir, we can overcome the error, sir.
Sorry, due to some call, I hope I'm not hearing your voice. I'm connecting again. Okay, please wait due course.
Purpose of uniform.
Anamika, sorry for the interruption. Now you can speak. Anamika, what is the
Yes,
purpose?
sir.
Quantization? Whether
Sir,
all the samples are in discrete digital in nature? Whether all the samples are digital in nature?
no, sir.
No. Why? Why are you saying no? Why are you saying no? Because this continuous time signal is continuous in amplitude as well as continuous in time. Okay. But
Yes,
this
sir.
discrete time signal is discretized in time domain. You can see here in all the time instant, the signal is having some values. Okay, if you take any time instant of the signal, it represents some value, some amplitude level. But in the case of discrete time signal, you can able to see that at suppose this is 0, this is 2t, this is 3t, this is 4t, 5t, 6t. At these instant only, the signal is having some amplitude levels, and remaining all other time instant, the signal is having 0. So the time is discretized, but it is continuous in amplitude. Okay, so it is having several number of amplitude levels. You can see the amplitudes are having several numbers. Amplitudes are represented by different levels. Okay. So to bring this large number of amplitude levels into a small number of finite levels, theoretically speaking, converting the infinite number of continuous amplitude signal into finite number of amplitude signals. Okay. So it will have only few levels. If it is a uniform quantization, it will have only few levels and the samples will be represented within these level alone. Okay. So first sample will be represented here, second sample and the third sample, fourth sample, fifth sample, sixth sample. Here you can see that fourth sample and sixth sample are having different unit levels, different amplitude levels, but here fourth sample and the sixth sample are having same level, same amplitude level. So that is the purpose of the quantization. So at the end of the quantization, the signal is digitized. Okay, that means the signal is both discrete in time as well as discrete in amplitude. Okay. I hope you all understand this concept. Now this digital signal is having various amplitudes ranging different values. So to a suitable waveform, we have to choose to transmit it to the channel. The suitable waveform is the binary waveform, so that we have to convert these amplitude levels. Suppose if this is 1, 2, 0 volt, 1 volt, 2 volt means we have to convert this volt level into equivalent binary data. For that we are going to use a temporal encoder. Okay, so three processes are involved in digitizing process in pulse code modulation. So pulse code modulation, the first process is sampling, the second process is quantization, and the third process is encoding. Okay, this order should be followed. Okay, we should not replace one with other. Okay. Okay, so this is the thing we have discussed so far, and in few sessions we have also described about the different types of quantization. Different types of quantization. We know that the quantization can be broadly categorized into two types. One is uniform quantization and another one is non-uniform quantization. In the uniform quantization, we are having two categories. One is mid-thread type of uniform quantizer. The next one is mid-rise type of uniform quantizer. And in the non-uniform quantizer, we are having again two choices which are all logarithmic based. One is mu law and another one is A law. I hope you all know these things, because in the previous sessions we have discussed all these things in a very brief manner. If you want, you can go through the slides or go through the lecture videos. Also, many more lecture videos are available in the NPTEL related to these things and in some MOOC courses. You can also refer that. If you type this topic on the YouTube, you will get many more number of videos. Okay, given by many professors, many senior professors also. So that also you can refer. Then after that, we have discussed the architecture of the pulse code modulation transmitter as well as receiver. After that, we have now we are in the process of evaluating the performance of pulse code modulation with uniform quantizer. With uniform quantizer. And there are several performance metrics are there. One of the best performance metric is SQNR. And then word length, code word length. The third one is bandwidth. These are all the three different performance metric we are going to analyze. That is PCM. In the case of PCM, we are having three units: sampler, quantizer, and encoder. So all these three systems are combined together, and it is called as PCM. The whole unit is called as PCM. Now, in this unit, we are using this quantizer as a uniform quantizer. We are now placing the uniform quantizer in this PCM system and evaluating the performance metrics. While doing so, we got the analytical values. The value of SQNR, is defined as nothing but the power of the quantization error divided by the power of the signal. And the power of the quantization level is nothing but Q square by 12 that we have described. since the quantization noise in the uniform quantizer follows the uniform probability density function, and we have derived E of xe square as q square by 12 and E of x square as, let me assume it as p, the power of the signal p. Okay, so we got SQNR as 12p divided by q square. Oh, sorry, I'm doing some wrong thing. Sorry. That is a signal, the ratio between the signal power to the quantization noise power. So signal power is assumed to be P, and we have derived the quantization noise power in the uniform quantizer. It is Q square by 12. So we can get 12P divided by Q square. And we already know that Q is equal to 2A max by L. A max is the maximum amplitude of the sample and L is the number of levels in the quantizer. Okay. So if you substitute this value here, you will get SQNR is equal to, this is one expression for SQNR, and another expression for SQNR is, if you substituting Q in this equation, you will get SQNR equal to 3P divided by A max square into 2 to the power of 2n. This is another expression. Okay, because we know that L is equal to 2n. We know that L is equal to 2n. And once again, I am reminding that this is sampler, this is quantizer, this is encoder. All these three constitute a PCM system. And be very cautious, the signal is sampled at a rate of Fs samples per second. So at the output of the sampler, you are having Fs number of samples. Fs number of samples. And the quantizer will only do the changes in the amplitude itself. So there will not be any change in the time domain. So the number of samples will remain as it is in the input of the quantizer. Okay, so the output number of samples will also be equal to same as that of the input, Fs number of samples. And it is assumed that this quantizer is having L number of levels. Akash, can you say how many number of bits shall I use if I am using 4-level quantizer? 4-level quantizer use பண்ணனா எனக்கு எத்தனை பிட்ஸ் தேவைப்படும் ரெப்ரசன்ட் பண்றதுக்கு? 4 level. Let you assume that 0, 1, 2, 3 4 levels இருக்கு quantization. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3 4 levels இருக்கு. சரியா? How many number of bits you require to represent one level? ஒரு level represent பண்றதுக்கு எத்தனை bit வேணும்?
2 யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாமா சார்?
2 யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். Very good. Because 0, 0 இந்த level எப்படி represent பண்ணிக்கலாம்? 0, 1 and this level can be represented as 1, 0. Represented can be 1, 1. Okay. This is just a mapping. You can also map it anyway because the mapping depends on the designer's perspective. Okay. Okay. So இப்போ ஆகாஷ் சொன்ன மாதிரி 4 is equal to 2 to the power of 2. Okay. That means this is the number of levels, L. Okay. That is 0 is one level, 1 amplitude 1 volt is one level, 2 volt is one level, 3 volt is one level. We are having 4 levels. So L is equal to 2 to the power of n. Okay. So the encoder is used to encode n number of bits for each sample. ஒவ்வொரு சாம்பிளுக்கும் ஒரு n bit யூஸ் பண்ணும். அப்போ டோட்டலா at the output of the encoder how many number of bits will be there? n into fs. Okay, இங்க fs samples இங்க இருக்கு. இந்த இடத்துல we are having fs number of samples and each sample is having n number of bits encoded by n number of bits, so that at the output you will have n into fs number of bits. I hope you all understood. Gopika, is there any doubt? Gopika? Okay. Okay, so as of now we have discussed what we had discussed in the previous lecture sessions, and now we are going to discuss three different topics, that is PCM word size, and then is transmission of PCM word size, transmission bandwidth of PCM word size, transmission bandwidth of PCM, and then we are going to discuss the noise in PCM systems. Let us first see about the PCM word size. And we know that if signal, we can take a sinusoidal signal for the assumption case. And we are doing sampling process in this signal. Okay, and we are getting the maximum amplitude as A max and minimum amplitude as minus A max, and the total peak to peak amplitude is APP. And generally we can speak in this sinusoidal signal APP will be 2A max, but we cannot say this is same for all the signals. Suppose if I take an audio signal, like this, so this maximum peak and minimum peak are not equally distributed. The amplitude levels are getting differed on the positive portion and on the negative amplitude portions, so that we can simply say the whole amplitude as peak to peak value. Instead of saying 2A max, we are representing that particular total peak to peak amplitude. Okay, and we know that when we doing quantization, it will deviate the sample amplitude either towards the positive side or towards the negative side. Either it may be constructively added or destructively added. Okay, and that portion of addition is called as quantization error or quantization noise. And we are assuming that quantization noise is assumed to be a fraction of this APP, and that particular fraction should be the maximum value. The particular fraction should be the maximum value, so that we are denoting XC of modulus of XC of n is less than or equal to P into APP. And here P is the proportionality constant which is used to represent the fraction of the maximum peak to peak amplitude. From this we can say that the peak to peak, the quantization error is always bounded to a fraction of peak to peak amplitude. Quantization error is always bounded to a fraction of peak to peak value, and the fractional proportionality constant is termed to be P. This is fractional number. P is a fractional number. And we know that this, in the case of uniform quantization, Q will be equal, because we are now dealing with the uniform quantization. So we can say that in the quantization level, from one level to other level, the value will be, the step size will be Q. from one level to other level, the step size will be q, and the chosen amplitude is it will be at the mid position of this level. So there will be a possibility of maximum of q by 2 volts of error. That's why this modulus of xc of n, we can say that it is maximally bounded by q by 2. So q by 2 value should be maximally bounded by a portion of the peak to peak amplitude. And we know that if we are having L number of levels, if we are having L number of levels, L number of levels, okay, totally L number of levels, and each level is represented by Q, and the total peak to peak value is APP. L number of levels, 1 level, 2 level, 3, 3rd level, 4th level, L number of levels. One level of space on the Q. The space of one level is represented by Q, that is called a step size. That already we have discussed a lot. We can also call this step size as quantum step or quantile interval. Okay, and we are having L number of levels. And the relationship between this APP, this Q, and this L is nothing but Q is equal to APP by L. Now you substitute Q is equal to APP by L in this expression. Okay, you are going to substitute this value here and you will get this expression. APP by 2L is less than or equal to P into APP. So APP will get cancelled, and if you reduce it, you can come to know that L is greater than or equal to 1 divided by 2P, where P is the fractional number which is a proportional of peak to peak amplitude error. And we already know that the relationship between the number of levels of the quantizer and the number of bits used to represent one level by the encoder is n. L is the number of level. L is the number of levels. In quantizer, in the quantizer. And n is the number of bits produced by the encoder for each level. Okay, and we know that the relationship between L and N is equal to 2 to the power of N. So if you substitute it, 2 power N is greater than or equal to 1 divided by 2P, and if you put, if you take logarithm base 2 on both sides, taking logarithm of base 2 on both sides of the equation, you will get this expression. So n is greater than or equal to log of 1 divided by 2p to the base of 2. Is there any doubt? Caroline?
Yes, sir.
Caroline, are you having any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So from this expression what we come to know is the n is inversely proportional to the percentage of error. Okay, P here is to be referred as percentage of error in the peak to peak amplitude, and it's a fractional number. So here P is nothing but P is a fractional number. We can say it as percentage of error. Percentage of error in amplitude occur in the quantizer. Okay. So n is always chosen depending on this percentage of error. The number of bits which is used to encode each level in the quantizer is chosen depending on the percentage of, and which is inversely proportional. As the percentage of error is more, you have to use maximum number of bits. Okay. As P is more, if the percentage of error is more, then you have to use many number of bits. If the percentage of error is less, you can use minimum number of bits to encode a particular sample value. So the quantization error can also be controlled with the help of number of bits. And because at the receiver side, we are not having the dequantizer. Instead, we are directly decoding it with the help of decoder. So the decoder, with the help of maximum number of bits, the decoder can able to represent some good amplitude levels, and by that the quantization error can be tolerated. But this is not hopeful to do. There will be always a trade-off between this n and the percentage of error. Because the bandwidth depends on the value of n. That is the number of bits transmitted by the PCM system. Because PCM, the output of the PCM system, anyhow the PCM system consists of three different devices: sampler, quantizer and encoder. This is the whole setup of PCM. And the output of the PCM is determined by the output of the encoder. So we have to speak the data rate of the PCM with the help of the data rate of the encoder. So the data rate or bit rate of the encoder is represented by n into Ss. That we already know that, n into Fs bits per second. And this n into Fs is represented by, at the baseband it is represented like this. Okay, this is the total RB. This is the total RB. So we can say that this is RB by 2. This is the encoder bit. Okay, this is the output spectrum of the encoder bit. This is minus RB by 2. Generally the spectrum will be like this. It will be like a sinc function. So that the bandwidth of the PCM is maximally bounded by RB by 2. Because if you take, let you take this as TB, that is bit duration. Okay, I will clearly explain it, then only you can able to understand. First analog signal என்னவா convert ஆகும்? இது analog signal. Analog signal is converted into discrete time signals. Discrete time signals. Then this discrete time signal, with the help of sampling process and with the help of quantization process, this discrete time signals are fixed to some levels. Then that will be replaced by, this is with the help of quantization process, it will be converted into digital signal. Then this digital signal is converted into binary data, 1 0 1 1 0 0 1, likewise. Okay, and here this space is referred to TS. The space between one sample to another sample at the output of the quantizer is sampling duration, but here after converted into binary data, the space between one this point to this point, that is the time interval of one bit is assumed to be TB. Am I audible now? Am I audible? Okay. So the bit is represented by bit duration. Okay. So let you draw the time domain represents a particular bit. Okay. This is the output of the encoder. Okay. In time domain, if you are representing it, it will be the total duration of a bit is TB. So it will be TB by 2. This is minus TB by 2. Okay. And if you take Fourier transform of this binary data in frequency domain, it will be a function of sync. And this is nothing but minus 1 by TB. The whole is 1 by TB. The whole will be 1 by TB. That is nothing but RB. That means if you are transmitting, let us say, if this is the total number of bits, I can say here 5 bits are being transmitted, 10110. 5 number of bits are transmitted for 1 second. This is 1 second. I can say that the data rate is 5 bits per second. So what is the value of TB? RB here is 5. RB in the case of this diagram is 5. Okay. Then what is the size of 1 bit? What is the time duration of 1 bit? Can anyone say? Batma Parvati. One second la 5 bit represent. What is the time duration of 1 bit?
1 by 5.
Very good. 1 by 5.
5.
So, very good, correct. 1 by, so if you are having RB, then RB is equal to nothing but 1 divided by TB. Okay. RB and TB are inversely proportional. TB is equal to 1 by 5. TB is equal to 1 by 5. That is TB is equal to 1 by RB, or RB is equal to 1 divided by TB. So the total TB will be represented in frequency domain as 1 divided by TB. So the total is RB by 2. So it is maximally bounded by RB by 2. Okay. Generally we will focus on the main lobe of the sync function. We are not considering the secondary or tertiary lobe and other higher order side lobes. We are primarily focused on the main lobe to determine the significant bandwidth. That's why the bandwidth of a PCM is maximally bounded by RB by 2. And we know that this RB is the value of RB. RB is n into fs bits per second. We can write this as BPCM is maximally bounded by NFS by 2. And again, the Nyquist rate of a sampler is determined by Fs as twice the maximum frequency of the analog signal. So if you substitute this value equation as 2m divided by 2, 2 will get cancelled, and we can write BPCM is maximally bounded by NFM. Okay, so these are all the various expressions used to determine the bandwidth of the BPCM. So the is directly proportional to the number of bits used to represent one level by the encoder, and FM is the maximum amplitude of the analog signal which is to be sampled. So if the frequency or bandwidth of the analog signal is increased, then we ultimately need a greater bandwidth for the PCM system. Or otherwise, if we encode particular level with many number of bits, then ultimately the bandwidth of the PCM will get increased. If n increase, bandwidth of the PCM will get increased. If n decrease, bandwidth of the PCM is getting decreased. So, in determination of bandwidth of a pulse code modulation system, the sampler and the encoder plays a vital role, because FM is depending on the sampling parameter, because Fs is equal to 2FM. Fs is always depending on FM. Okay. So the quantizer does not take any part in determining the bandwidth of the pulse code modulation system. The sampler and the sampler and the encoder are playing important role in determining the bandwidth of the pulse code modulation system. Almost the analog signal is also taking part, but anyhow we will reduce the to avoid the aliasing effect, we will use an anti-aliasing low pass filter. Anti-aliasing low pass filter before to the sampler. Before to the sampler, we will use an anti-aliasing low pass filter to reduce it to a bounded by a maximum frequency of FM, and this encoder will use n number of bits for each level. So at the output of the bandwidth of the PCM, at the output the bandwidth of the PCM will be maximally bounded by n into FM. I hope you all can able to picturize these things in your mind. Okay, let us consider a problem. Then only you can able to understand the practical application of this all these performance metrics. Okay, here a band limited voice signal of 3 kHz bandwidth is sampled at a Nyquist rate, and so from this what we can understood, a band limited voice signal of 3 kHz bandwidth. From this what we can able to know? Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi.
Yes, sir.
What do you know? What do you come to know from this statement? Consider a band limited voice signal of 3 kHz bandwidth is sampled at a Nyquist rate. In the point, what do you come to know? You are going to consider a voice signal whose bandwidth is restricted to a maximum value of 3 kHz. So the maximum frequency of the voice signal is 3 kHz. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then this signal, let you assume this is the analog signal. X of t is the analog voice signal and it is having a bandwidth of 3 kilohertz and it is sampled with a frequency of sampled at Nyquist rate. So what will be the sampling frequency? Sampling frequency another.
2 FM, sir.
Very good. Because Nyquist frequency is nothing but 2 into FM. So that will be 6 kilohertz. Okay. So 6
Yes, sir.
kilohertz. Okay, pa. You can now mute yourself. I will ask the question to other person.
Thank you.
Reshma Sri.
Yes, sir.
So you come to the next point, and it is quantized by a uniform quantizer whose quantization error not exceeds plus or minus 1%. What does it mean? You come to this point. Okay. This signal x of t, this voice signal x of t is sampled at Nyquist rate 6 kilohertz and it is quantized by a uniform quantizer whose quantization error not exceeds plus or minus 1% of peak to peak amplitude. From this statement, what do you come to know? The percentage of error is p, fractional number. That is bounded to plus or minus 1%. 1% means 0.01 because 1% is nothing but 1 divided by 100. 1% is nothing but 1 divided by 100. So P is equal to plus or minus 0.01. Okay. Then this signal is transmitted over a 16 array PCM system. And as of now, we have only dealt with binary PCM, but here you are going to determine the, you are going to use a 16 array PCM. Okay. Then you need to find minimum number of bits required to represent a sample. How can you determine the minimum number of bits required to represent one sample? Any idea? Within the given information, can you able to determine that?
So K equal to 4.
That is, you are saying depending on the MRE value, right? You are saying depending on the MRE value, and if M is equal to, we can say it as 2 to the power of K, and you are saying K is equal to 4. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
But you should not consider the 4 as here because it is the MRA PCM speaks about the packing of bits together. But what the question is asking you, minimum number of bits required to represent one sample. So the quantizer, at the output of the quantizer, you are having several number of samples, and the encoder will convert that samples into several number of bits. Okay. So here you have to say how many number of bits that an encoder can use to represent one sample coming out of the quantizer. Can you able to get my point? நான் என்ன சொல்ல வரேன்னு புரியுதா?
சார் இன்னொரு தடவை எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுங்க சார்.
நீங்க சொல்றது MRI சிஸ்டம். இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் யூ ஆர் ஹேவிங் சாம்பிளிங் குவான்டைசர் என்கோடர். இந்த அவுட்புட் வேல்யூ இங்க வந்து நம்பர் ஆஃப் பிட்ஸ் வரும். n number of n into fs number of bits. After converting this, you can pack it with MRE PCM. இப்போ இந்த பாயிண்ட் வரைக்கும் பைனரி பிசிஎம் தான் இருக்கு. ஓகேயா? இதுக்கப்புறம் தான் MRE PCM பத்தி நீங்க யோசிக்கணும், MRE பேக்கிங் பத்தி யோசிக்கணும். பட் ஹியர் it is, this encoder will use n number of bits to represent one sample at the output of the quantizer. இதுல உள்ள ஒரு சாம்பிள், இந்த ஒரு சாம்பிளை பிட்ஸா கன்வெர்ட் பண்றதுக்கு n number of bits யூஸ் பண்ணுது encoder. இந்த n வேல்யூ கேக்குறாங்க. We have seen here now. What is the relationship between n and p? By seeing this, you can say the answer. N is greater than or equal to log of 1 divided by 2p. Okay. So here n is determined as greater than or equal to log of 1 divided by 2p to the base of 2. We know that p is greater than or equal to 1. You can substitute here and you will get the answer. Okay, I left it for your work. And then the next question is bit transmission rate. So you have to determine the value of RB. What is RB? Sushmita? Sushmita?
Yes, sir.
What is RB? Bit transmission rate.
Yes, sir. N into Fs, sir.
N into?
Fs.
Very good. N into Fs. And you know that N, you can get the N value from here, and Fs is equal to 6 kilohertz. From this you can determine RB. Now only we have to determine the baud rate of the system, and while determining the baud rate we have to consider this value. The baud rate is nothing but bit rate divided by the total number of bits packed together. Okay, and from this value you will get RB, and you have to substitute RB here to determine the value of RS. I hope you all will do this problem on your own. Shall I go for the next problem? நீங்களே கால்குலேட் பண்ணிடுவீங்கல்ல? பண்ணிடலாமா முடியாதா? Or otherwise I have to do. Sam Selvan.
Yes, sir.
Can you do, or
Yes,
I
sir.
shall proceed?
So I can do.
Okay, okay, Pa.
Okay, sir.
So you do it on yourself, okay? Because I have given
Okay,
all the hints to complete the problem.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so here one more problem. A television signal having a bandwidth of 4.2 megahertz is transmitted using a binary PCM system. Okay. So from this statement, what do you come to know? Bhavatarani? Bhavatarani? இந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ல இருந்து என்ன தெரியுது? You come to audio because I am asking questions related to technical. So don't chat. Come to audio. Mic is not working. Okay, at least try to get a good mic, okay? Because it is about 100 or 200 rupees alone. In this pandemic situation, you may buy it so that it will help you a lot in achieving the learning process. Okay. Now shall I move to Jayasudha? Jayasudha? Jayasudha?
Sir.
What do you come to know from this expression? From the statement, sorry, from the statement. A television signal having a bandwidth of 4.2 megahertz. So the television signal is an analog signal, okay? And it is bounded to a maximum value of, it is bounded to a maximum value of 4.2 kilohertz. So FM is equal to 4.2 kilohertz, okay? Then it is, then the given that the number of quantization level is 512, then it determines that L is equal to 512. Okay. And the first question is number of bits required for each code word. ஒவ்வொரு code wordக்கும் எவ்வளவு bits தேவை? Number of bits required for each code word. Here the code word, the term code word refers to the amplitude of the sample at the output of the quantizer. The code word என்னன்னா amplitude of the sample at the quantizer, at the output of the quantizer. Okay. Now tell me, how many number of bits can we use? You have been given two parameters, FM, and now you have been asked to find the value of n. Can you able to determine n with these two given informations? Sorry, sir. Mentioned in megahertz. Thank you, Reshma. சொல்லுங்க ஜெயசுதா.
L is equal to 2.
What is the relationship? L is equal to 2 to the power of n. So n is equal to log of l to the base of 2. So log of 512 to the base of 2. What is the value? 9. Okay. So n is equal to 9 bits. So 9 bits are used to represent one sample or one code word. Okay. Okay. Now you can mute yourself. Then the next question is the transmission bandwidth. So what are all the informations we are having as of now? FM is equal to 4.2 megahertz and L is equal to 512 and the number of bits as 9 bits. Okay, now we have to determine the transmission bandwidth of the system. What is the bandwidth of PCM? BPCM equals N into FM, that we already know. So you have to multiply 9 and 4.2 megahertz. So 18, 1, 37, 37.8 megahertz is the bandwidth of the pulse code modulation system. And the third question is minimum bit rate required for the transmission of BPCM signal. Minimum bit rate is nothing but RB, and the relationship between BPCM and RB is twice the value of BPCM. So 16, 115, 75.6 megabits per second. Okay, 75.6 megabits per second. Right? Is there any doubt? The problem is doubt irukappa? Nandini?
No, sir.
Okay. So similarly, you write down this problem, and I am making this problem as a homework for you. Okay, you have to do this problem. In the next class, I will ask you to explain this problem. Okay, you have to present it in your notebook, in your Google Meet on பண்ணி notebook வச்சு present பண்ணணும். Okay. So, which hour are we having in tomorrow's class? Are we having any hour on tomorrow?
Sir, tomorrow second hour, sir.
Okay, shall we meet with the Google Meet on tomorrow's second hour?
Okay, sir.
Because I will deal some another problems, tutorial problems, so that you may able to get some good number of problematic knowledge in these topics, because these are very important for your GATE exams also. Okay, Pa. So now we shall wind up the session. All of you are asked to enter your name and register number in the chat box for the attendance purpose. And I hope you are all following the Moodle classroom. Many of the students, from my point of view, they are subscribing my YouTube channel and they are attending the classes based on YouTube. But in our college, the management is asking us to enter the attendance based on Moodle platform. At the end of every month, the administration team will check our Moodle login, how many number of students have logged, at which time they have logged. All these informations will be analyzed by the administration team. Okay, so try to log in the Moodle and learn accordingly. Anyhow, if you register or subscribe the channel, you have to compulsorily open the Moodle and attend. Okay, so please don't forget that. It is very much essential for your attendance purpose. Okay, now you can leave the meet. Thank you all.